Hello and welcome to Baller Sports Dialogue, presented by the Sporting Tribune. It's your co-hosts, Brandon Deutsch and Graham Mona, here to discuss a little bit of post-NBA finals stuff. Congrats to the Nuggets, but more so into the offseason. People are impatient
We're in the
nowadays.
offseason.
We're in the offseason.
Let's go.
Nuggets were yesterday's story. It's crazy how all the fan bases prepare for that one moment. The Nuggets get it, and then no one cares the next day. You know, it's all about next year. Who's going to win next year? It's so crazy how that happens. And the NBA draft just a week away pretty much, and you know it's right after the season. That's going to be super cool, and I love by the way, first off, the NBA's format with that is excellent. Having the NBA draft really right after the season,
I love it.
Give people a week or so, and then it's back to draft, and then it's summer league a week or two later, and then after the summer league, you only have like a couple months.
It's almost like
year
round now. Like I feel
for
like
the younger
it
guys,
wasn't like
yeah.
that
For the
before,
younger
right?
guys, I mean, the vets can.
Well,
get
I mean, for NBA fans, it's kind of like a year-round
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
now because you didn't summer league wasn't as big of a thing in the past.
Yeah.
Now it's like really big because you have like the actual lottery picks playing.
I know,
You
and
know,
I know
so
we
it's
don't.
pretty cool.
I know we don't talk a lot about baseball, but I feel like this season in baseball is excellent as well, which is always cool when you have the intertwining sports like football and baseball,
Hockey, the Stanley Cup Finals on right now.
Yeah. I mean, Vegas is going to win.
Yeah.
If
Hopefully.
not tonight, they'll win at some point. They'll win at some point in that series. But yeah, no, a lot going on. First off, I wanted to talk about that game briefly, Grant, because we're big fans of the defense, zone defense that the Heat bring. They played excellent the last couple of games defensively, limiting the Nuggets shooting. Tell me why the Lakers weren't able to do that and the Heat were, because the Nuggets shot about 2 out of I think 24 from three, or like 3 out of 25, something like that, maybe 4 threes at most, and they still won. I mean, that just shows how good and how many different ways they can beat you. In the Lakers series, they shot about 50% from three, and the Lakers were the number one defense going into that series in the playoffs. And they made great adjustments in the Warriors series, and the Warriors are a better shooting team, no? Like, sometimes not all around, but I mean with Curry and Clay, and they shut those guys down half the time. But Denver series, everybody was shooting, and then Miami was able to figure it out. Tell me the difference. Is it just teams wanting to get up and go after and beat the Lakers and play the best basketball of their life because everyone talks about the Lakers, which is true. I mean, they kind of run the NBA,
that's a little bit part of it.
Because everyone wants to know about the Lakers, especially when they have a marquee name like LeBron.
Yeah.
Or is it that Darvin Ham is a rookie coach, he's not as polished as Spoelstra, wasn't able to make the correct adjustments, or simply didn't have the players to make those adjustments?
I don't think that's it. I think what it was, I don't remember. I forgot exactly what the stat is, so I'm not going to say exactly what it is, but I know that the Heat were a very good team closing out on threes. Like, the Lakers were bad in transition. You and I both know this. The Lakers were a bad transition defense team.
All year.
The Heat were a good transition defense team, and they could close out in that zone. I know they went to zone a lot, and I mentioned this in our last pod in the finals preview, is that zone would be key. It did stifle them a little bit, but Denver eventually figured it out. But what Miami did a little bit better was closing out on the threes out of the zone. And I think that's what kind of threw the Nuggets off, because KCP, say what you want about him in the series, he was pretty good in the Lakers series. He was awesome in the Lakers series.
What about the finals this last game?
Yeah, in the last game he was good, but I'm saying his shooting struggles were there in the finals, and it was primarily due to them closing out pretty well.
Porter Jr. too.
He was very bad in the series.
Even wide open shots.
Which is why I'm not shocked, but I kind of am surprised that it ended in 5, because you and I both knew this coming in, and we said this in our previews, that we could see the Heat taking this to 6 or 7 just because they can go to that zone and close out on the threes. They did that, and the Nuggets still won. I mean, we had generational performances from Nikola Jokic. Let's not get it wrong. That guy had what was the stat? He led the league in
almost
points, assists, rebounds. That was the first time in NBA history that's been done.
Well, because LeBron never did it in rebounds, right?
No, I don't think so.
He did assist points.
Yeah, but I mean, Nikola Jokic was a generational, not just finals, but playoffs.
He led the whole team in
and
playoffs,
that was the thing coming in that a lot of people, myself included, I did not expect him to be this good. I know he's really good, but I didn't expect him to be this generational this whole entire playoff run. I expected somebody to kind of throw him off. I don't think nobody threw him off.
Nobody did, and nobody did. I'm not going to say I'm not going to say I knew it was happening, but I just could figure.
You were more high on the Nuggets and Jokic than a lot of people
for years on Jokic specifically. This Nuggets team is a different animal because of Bruce Brown and KCP and the guys they added. By the way, Bruce Brown's leaving.
Shout out to Bruce Brown.
And he's going to leave, right? They're not going to be able to afford him. So that's a huge loss, and they're going to have guys step up. And when we talk.
Well, maybe Christian Brown can fill his role.
And Peyton Watson's going to need minutes. Mike Malone's a great coach.
I know.
I'm happy for Mike Malone.
I got to give props to literally almost everybody on that team. From the beginning of the season to the end, they were the best team.
Yeah.
Like you could say what you want about the Bucks, but they were the 1 seed and they won.
And it's crazy
convincingly.
It's crazy because I think they were more dominant, but a similar season to Miami Heat last year when they were the 1 seed, Miami, and everyone's like, Miami sucks. They'll lose to the Hawks in the first round. Even I said they could lose to the Hawks in the first round. And they were one Jimmy Butler shot away from the finals last year, right? And they were the best team in the East the whole year up until that last game where they easily could have won. Yeah. Now, the Nuggets are a different animal. And by the way, this is not something new with their shooting being so, and not just three-point shooting. I mean, Michael Porter Jr. really showed his secondary shot creation, something he had never previously shown.
He put the ball on the floor.
I mean, he hasn't shown that since high school, college.
I know.
When he was the number 1 guy. Yeah. And that's a great
Mizzou,
sign.
Right?
Yeah, a great sign. And he played for Brandon Roy for that Seattle team.
Yeah.
When he was playing with his brother and all those guys. Seattle is just
that's an underrated basketball city.
Well, they need a
Jamal
team.
Crawford.
They need a
Roy,
team. It's a catastrophe for the NBA that a city
Vegas.
so adept with like basketball knowledge and culture does not have a NBA team. I mean, you see them packing the stadium for the WNBA team, right? Like imagine the NBA. I mean, there's just a whole nother level to what that brings media-wise. No offense to the WNBA, they're still growing. It's a great organization. It's a great league, and they have great fans. But it's growing. The NBA is a whole different animal. That's like comparing the cricket league in America to the MLB in America.
Even MLS.
Or MLS to Premier
Europe,
League. It's like no offense. Like I'm not saying it's a bad league. It's growing, right? There's no. But yeah, going back to this. The Nuggets, this was a team where I said for years, Jokic I thought was offensively the best player in the league.
I
wrote
said
an article
longer than I did.
I didn't know. I had Giannis and LeBron ahead of him last year just because defense. But man, his offensive game is so good, and he did things that I knew he could do, but for like 40 straight games or something, he did it, and it was like
even Lil Wayne was shocked. Lil Wayne was like, "I'd never seen something like that."
No one can make adjustments to this guy, dude. And I knew no one could make like even some adjustments last year when they were playing the Warriors. He got his. His team just was bad. And people forget the whole knock on Jokic was, he's no postseason success like Embiid
and his defense,
does.
Right?
Well, yeah, but he's so good offensively.
That's what I'm
to
saying.
Play
like, I realized
defense
that
wasn't absolutely bad in the finals. I was like watching him play defense. I'm like, people forget he has a 7'3" wingspan.
Yeah.
I don't.
He picked some balls. He stole some balls.
He's not athletic. I think that's the thing. Like, we're not going to expect him to be Bam Adebayo or Jaren Jackson Jr. out there.
No.
He's but he's obvious rebounding goes into defense, right? So he's the best rebounder in the league pretty much. So you can't really say he's a terrible defender. I guess perimeter defender he's terrible. Interior defender he's under not great, weak, but rebounding.
I just think our notion of like what a defensive player is like, a guy that blocks shots, gets steals, and is a menace in the paint. When in reality, you just need to get rebounds and be a presence down there. Like you don't really need to be like absolute like AD.
Look at Aaron Gordon.
You can say like AD is excellent on defense because he blocks shots.
Well, but AD,
he gets steals.
I don't think
he can guard like 1 through 5. Like Jokic, he's not a bad defender because he can get rebounds. He's big. There's no doubt he's a big guy down there.
The things on Twitter that lost him the award partly were like him getting beat on switches and
late into the season. Late into the season too.
No, him getting beat on switches. Like he was on guards and like, what do you think's gonna happen?
He's not a Bam Adebayo.
Well, barely. Davis got cooked a couple times this year by guards. Although David, it's so unfair. I feel like nowadays to compare guys to the defenders we have in the league. Like Davis is like a generational defensive player. Like Giannis is like a generational defensive player with the how athletic and how versatile those guys are, being able to guard like Mikal Bridges, like Jaren Jack. These are guys that can guard like 2 through 5. Like we've never seen this in the NBA since maybe like Pippen, I guess. But like and Pippen couldn't guard the 5 really. I mean, but. Still, I think we were giving Jokic. I feel like
I was wrong. totally wrong about my like what I thought Jokic would be in the playoffs. I was completely wrong.
Well, I didn't know. I knew he'd be amazing. I didn't know
offensively. I thought, but he was just better offensively than I ever imagined he could be in the playoffs.
I mean, that was if we're just looking at pure efficiency and impacting teammates up. Him that postseason is up there with prime LeBron's postseasons and prime MJ's postseasons. How efficient and how dominant.
Didn't he get what did he have, like a 30-20-10 game in the finals?
First ever. And by the way, how I mean, we'll get into that next. I just wanted to say first, like this team EFG, they were number 1 this year. They were number 1 last year with Michael, who was his second best player? Not Beasley. It was Monte Morris.
Dude, Monte Morris, Facundo Campazzo.
Well, I guess Aaron Gordon, but he didn't play well in the playoffs.
That's another thing that I want to mention is the Ross. Like, people last year were giving them like hell for what they did. They were a first round exit to the Warriors. The Warriors won the title. Look at the roster that not just Nikola Jokic, but the Nuggets had.
Yeah, Murray hurt.
They had Murray hurt. Porter
hurt.
Jr. was hurt.
Yep.
They had Facundo Campazzo, Austin Rivers, Monte Morris, and
Big
now
minutes. Will Barton. Will Barton couldn't stay in the NBA this year.
Look at who they have now.
Yeah.
Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon. They have Bruce Brown, KCP, like upgrades across the board. Much credit to the front office, by the way. Not getting a lot of credit.
Excellent offseason.
The players are getting a lot of credit. Excellent offseason.
Well,
almost nailed it.
By the way,
to a
we
T.
said this last summer when Bruce Brown was signed. We were like, this is like the best signing of the offseason. One of the more underrated.
I remember. Everyone was saying John Wall. Oh, I was saying, wait a minute. They're getting Porter and Murray back, and they got Bruce Brown
and KCP. The trade for KCP was excellent.
Yeah,
I mean, personally, as a Lakers fan, I know how good KCP is.
Oh, we all do.
We
all do.
He's a 3-and-D prototypical guy. You can guard at an elite level and shoot
especially around.
But Bruce
Jokic.
Brown, I can't believe they got him for $6.8 million after how he carried the Nets last year in games Durant and Irving missed. He carried them himself on both ends of the floor.
He was their backup center.
Yeah.
He was a center. They're using him as a center. That tells you how good of a rebounder he is, what kind of energy he brings to the team, and they're bringing him off the bench this year.
He was locking up the Lakers.
I know.
Locking them up. Dude.
And his three-point shot improved considerably.
Oh, absolutely. He hit a 3 in every game in the finals except the last
big
one.
threes.
No one hit threes in the finals this last game. That was more of an 80s style game, It was
cool
good money if you had the unders on everything. No one really hit the over.
It was so
a sloppy game. And by the way, let's get into next Jamal Murray, right? Because what a story that was. They were on the brink of trading him after that injury. We saw what he did in the bubble. He's never going to make it back to the bubble. Blah,
they were
blah,
thinking
blah.
like trade him for Kyrie at one point.
Yeah,
I was like, what?
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, because the Jokic and Murray pick and roll was lethal, even when
always
they played the
been.
Lakers. It was really unstoppable. They're only, they would have won that championship if Anthony Davis wasn't himself in that series and LeBron.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
they would have won.
Yeah,
the winner of that series was winning.
That game, what was it? Game 3 or the one that gave the one that where Anthony Davis hit the game winner. That one,
I think, or game 4.
Denver was very close. If Denver would have won that game in the bubble,
been a 6-7 game series.
They could have won it. Maybe
could have won the championship.
So
right?
They were close. They've always been close.
By the way, that was with Gary Harris as their third, fourth best player.
Right.
They didn't have Aaron Gordon. They didn't have Bruce Brown. They didn't have.
They had Paul Millsap
which makes me inclined to believe if they can, and Jokic wasn't to his level, and Murray wasn't to his level that they are now. Like they weren't even as good as they are now, and that tells me like they didn't even have Gordon, Bruce Brown, Gary Harris, Michael Beasley, or not Michael Beasley, Malik Beasley played well. Gary Harris, remember when Malik Beasley was 42% from 3. Everybody who comes to the Lakers can't shoot threes always.
Yeah.
Danny Green, never, and right when he leaves,
was decent though in the regular season.
Come on. That guy was wide open.
Was it? Here,
wide open on that shot in game. I know we won game 6, but
I know that.
How do you miss that? He could have taken 6 seconds to shoot that. No one was within 10 feet. And that was an excellent pass by LeBron, by the way.
He shot 37% in 19 and 20. That was a pretty good
Okay, whatever. Okay, regardless, the point is the Nuggets, the reason why I think they can win it all next year again, even without Bruce Brown, is because they still they're better than that team that almost beat a really good Lakers team that was 57-0 entering the fourth quarter. And that was still end of prime LeBron, prime Anthony Davis. Like, that was a good, best defense in the league, one of them. Like, that was an elite Lakers team that they almost beat without these guys. And I'm saying if Michael Porter Jr. can work on that secondary shot creation,
maybe a mid-ranger,
mid-range, his rebounding
passing
was
ability,
elite.
maybe.
And by the way, his rebounding got way better throughout.
He was
the
rebounding
postseason.
everything over Adebayo.
He had
it was
14
crazy.
boards yesterday, something crazy like that. And then you're gonna keep KCP. The whole roster's there. It's just Bruce Brown that's leaving.
Literally, that's.
Probably
right? Do they have any Jeff Green?
No,
is he done?
Our big argument was who's their backup center? Did they need one? They didn't need one.
Well, because Aaron Gordon kind of slotted in as their backup big.
That gives. I know we'll talk about them later, but that gives the Clippers some hope. No backup center. Maybe they can go if they're healthy, because we saw a team that actually got healthy and they won a championship.
Listen to me. I'm going to say this just as a quick aside. The Clippers are plus 2,300 to win the finals next year for a damn reason. They don't. There's no reason they should be in that conversation. I'm out.
I was high on them. I'm never picking them to win again, ever.
Me either.
Never. They can't stay healthy. Nuggets. Yeah, Jokic has been able to stay healthy.
Either way, Nuggets got help. But here, let me just say one thing about the Nuggets.
Go ahead.
It wasn't really that they weren't healthy, because you had one freak injury from Murray. Like Porter Jr., we knew had back issues. Like I don't think it was the fact that they got, because they were good when they were healthy back in 2020. They were good in 2019 as well. They always made the playoffs. It was just that this year they got good stuff around the edges, finally. They finally got good depth. I think they had Austin Rivers playing 8 minutes. I know no hate to Austin Rivers, but come on.
And look at I hate the Phoenix Suns, but what indication does this give Phoenix? They need 2 or 3 more players.
Right.
Because the Nuggets had 6 or 7 guys.
Right.
And that if they had to go to Reggie Jackson or Thomas Bryant or Peyton Watson, I think Peyton Watson would have done well, but he's a rookie. If they had to go to Reggie Jackson, Thomas Bryant, and DeAndre Jordan
they actually
down
got minutes,
the stretch.
though.
I know, but if they had to rely on those guys,
I know, yeah.
Like, you don't have to have 7, 8, 9 guys to win a championship anymore. Nuggets proved you can have 6 or 7. The Suns just had 3 or 4, right? Like, DeAndre Ayton was a traffic cone, on both ends of the floor, right? And Chris Paul was old. So they had 2 guys and a bunch of role players. And they still got 2 games on the Nuggets because Booker was generational.
And KD, they just went 35 plus.
So what I'm saying with them, as much as I dislike them, the reason why I can't count them out ever is because I know they don't have money, but Aiden is in drop coverage most of the time. His most successful second season of his NBA career is 18 and 11, right? Like he was in 1.7 blocks per game. He was great on both ends of the floor at 19, 20 years old. He was playing a lot of drop coverage. Who's one of the best drop coverage coaches in the league? Frank Vogel. That's part of the reason why they hired him. And I think that's a good hire. They're going to need, and they were able to keep Young, right, on the coaching staff, who's a great.
They just made him the highest paid assistant, too.
Yeah, because he's smart. And they're going to bring in other offensive guys to help, because Frank Vogel doesn't know how to coach offense. Let's be real. He doesn't, but he's a great defensive coach.
Who was the Lakers? Oh, it's Jason Kidd.
Who's a good offensive coach. I mean, Jason Kidd was a great...
And Lionel Hollins.
LeBron.
Yeah. Rondo's a coach, basically.
Rondo is great.
That staff was excellent.
I want Rondo to sit out all season and just come back for D'Angelo Russell in the playoffs next. Oh, he'd be a great
I want him to coach somewhere. Literally, when he was on the Clippers, Rajon Rondo had a mask when they were still wearing masks that said Coach Rondo on it. They basically just used him as a coach.
You know who should coach? The Grizzlies.
Oh, my God. So
he needs to
coach or the Celtics
or the Pelicans.
He played for the Celtics, won a title.
He needs to give direction to guys. The Celtics have a bunch of guys that, to be a Celtic, they don't have like how do I say this? There's I'm not trying to sound like tone deaf or but the Celtics, you kind of have to act a certain way to play for the Celtics, right? Like it's like the Yankees. It's like the Yankees. It's like the Lakers, right? You can't be flashing guns on the street in a Celtics or Lakers uniform. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
you're held to a different standard,
exactly.
I guess you could say.
And it's the media, it's the fans. It's like the Grizzlies are a small market team. I'm not saying, obviously, none of that stuff still flies, and that's why he's in trouble, John Morant. But what I'm saying is, Rondo needs to coach guys with direction. Right. He's a great leader,
That's
Rondo.
What I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? He needs to coach and Taylor Jenkins can't connect to John Morant. If he could, he would have already been, he's a great coach, excellent coach.
I mean, look at their
you think
staff.
John Morant's going to go into a room and respect what Taylor Jenkins says? He didn't respect what Adam Silver said.
No.
Why is he going to go
Or what Steven Adams said.
Yeah, but you think he's going to come in if he's forced to talk to Rondo and have a 2-hour conversation with Rondo? Maybe he'll actually listen to Rondo.
Probably. That's why everyone keeps saying, you have to have a veteran presence on the Grizzlies, but you have to have the right veteran presence. People were saying, bring in Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard's a goofball. He's not going to point direction for these guys. Like,
No
yes,
way.
he's a
He'd be
vet.
a team guy.
He's a team guy. He's a vet, much respect, but he's not the vet that'll be like, hey, like Udonis Haslem will be like, hey, get your stuff together. What are you doing?
Dudley.
Right, Jared Dudley was that kind of guy.
But what I'm saying is, like, guys like Zion and John need those guys. They need those guys. And why do you think New Orleans?
But they need the right veteran.
Yeah, and let's get into the report we're all seeing and heading into the draft. I know, Nuggets, I want to get into the Heat and what they're going to do because I know they're looking for a star. But New Orleans actively trying to get that third pick. The Hornets are going to take Brandon Miller, which I think is very dumb. I love Brandon Miller.
Is that a certainty now? I hope it's not.
I think it's almost a certainty. Look, Grant, you and me both have watched film on Brandon Miller. He's really good.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be really good. Paul George, basically. Maybe Paul George light, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's going to be
Even
really
that's
good. But his first step is not that explosive. Concerns me at the NBA level. Quickness. And when I look at guys like when I watch prime Derrick Rose and Scoot Henderson next to each other, I see so many comparisons. And you can throw away the Russell Westbrook comparison. Just look at those two guys. I mean,
that's what I thought. That's my comparison.
But Russell Westbrook hasn't really contributed to winning ever. Like maybe a couple times when he was with Durant. I mean, I hate to say it. A lot of it is, he can, but in a correct system. I think Scoot has more flexibility in how he can contribute to a team. Because I think he has a higher IQ.
So you're talking like I was thinking just like pure athleticism.
I mean, like Scoot Henderson's prime Derrick Rose.
But you're talking about like within an organization, within a team.
I think he has better shooting mechanics than Westbrook.
Oh yes.
Especially from beyond the arc. He only shot 26%. He's not going to come in a good three-point shooter. Like he's going to need to work on it. His first step is explosive. His playmaking's elite. Better than prime Derrick Rose when Rose entered the league. His scoring's not as crisp as Derrick Rose when he entered the league. But I think Henderson's a superstar, an MVP candidate by year 4.
And I think like physically he can last in the league. Like
Derrick
Rose when he came in was a bit thin, right? Scoot Henderson's coming in looking like a prime like LeBron build.
And the
it's
big thing
crazy.
is his size, 6'2". I don't care. It's like the Bryce Young thing. Like, dude, if you can play football, you can play basketball. I don't care, dude. Like Bruce Brown is 6'4", and Bruce Brown was playing center and dominating for
like Kemba Walker was. That was always
Porzingis is 7'3", and he gets bullied in the post. We're going to see similar things with Chet Holmgren.
Even Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, Wembanyama's going to get bullied. Wembanyama was terrible in the French finals the other day or whatever.
He's already a playoff choker.
He's already a playoff.
I'm just kidding.
No, I'm kidding. It's a joke, Carl. French listeners is all good.
I love me some Batum. You see my Batum Battalion shirt.
See, him and Parker, the only two non-soft Frenchmen in history. No, for basketball specifically.
No Fournier?
Fournier's kind of soft.
True. Gobert.
He's kind of soft. Fournier is not soft because he didn't get convicted for armed robbery. 20 mil from the Knicks, 25 mil from the Knicks.
Know.
That's the Knicks' fault, not Fournier's. His agent deserves a freaking raise though for that, dude. I always look at like the Chandler
Timothy
Parsons
Mozgov's
agent, Timothy Mozgov's agent, Luol Deng's agent. Oh my, was that Rob Pelinka?
No, that was Mitch Kupchak.
Kupchak was no. That was
the
agent. Who was his agent?
Let me see.
Who was his agent? Those guys need a raise, man. I'm thinking of the contracts, like the Chandler Parsons contract. Remember, we got like $100 million. Batum.
I can't believe that.
What about Batum?
Oh, Batum robbed the
Gordon Hayward's agent, dude. There's so many guys that are like Ayton's agent. I mean, but Ayton's more a product of what's been going on in the league. Yeah, give that man a raise. Give that man a raise. If that man's unemployed, hire him as your agent. I mean, if he doesn't have enough.
Jeff Austin.
Oh, Jeff Austin's pretty big time. I mean, both of those guys are. My main point is, going back to the prospects, they're going to make a mistake. And New Orleans has seen, like, okay, we can get this generational point guard that can come in and lead the team to a championship. And usually Brandon Ingram wouldn't be on the table.
That's what I was just going to ask. Who do they put on the table?
I don't think it's – I mean, I think it's Zion and Ingram. I think they put both on the table. Not together, but I'm saying they're going to trade. They're going to trade one of them if they want to.
It's got to be Zion.
You're not going to be able to trade as much as I love Trey Murphy and Herb Jones. You're not going to be able to trade both in future for like. Why would Portland do that? Like,
that doesn't move. They need a star
Ingram.
equivalent.
Ingram would get them to the
Zion. But in my opinion, I don't think the Pelicans want to move on from. Why would you move on from Brandon Ingram over Zion?
No, I'd move on from Zion. You think Portland would rather have Zion, who's never shown to stay healthy?
I'm just doing it like from the Pelicans' perspective.
But if I'm Portland, I'll be like, why the heck would I want a guy who can't stay healthy? You're basically trading me Anthony Davis to a lesser extent.
Okay. Yeah. So there's really, I mean.
So Ingram is the guy they're gonna need to trade.
So do you think New Orleans goes after or puts Brandon Ingram on the table? I don't think they will.
Well,
Did you see what he's doing?
Yeah, they didn't put him on the table for KD.
Right,
so,
right.
Okay,
exactly.
so Zion is possibly the guy they want to move on. Especially with all the stuff going on with Zion. I mean,
that brother's a dog.
Yeah,
that's all I gotta say.
Zion, yeah. we thought his addiction was Del Taco, but it turned out to be an actual taco or something like that. Sorry, that was cringe. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, Zion. We thought his issue was health, but I guess it's his off-court activities, man. I don't know, brother.
It is health. He's getting his cardio up, just not in the right way. Not in the right way. He's not hitting the gym. Let's say he's still getting the cardio in, but it doesn't translate to the on-court activities.
Don't go on Twitter and search up Mariah Mills. That's all I gotta say.
Or any of the people that he's been with.
Poor guy, man.
I feel
he's
bad.
gotten himself into
I don't feel bad, actually. I mean, he's been given the world. They tried to market him as the face of the league.
What happened? Let me go to this. This should be our next point. What happened with that 2019 draft class?
Oh, man.
Like, Ja Morant in his issues, Zion Williamson, all of his issues. RJ Barrett, mid. Like,
well, other things. But we're not going to go into the other RJ Barrett issue things. Not that it's bad. That's not bad. That's not bad. That's just something that's like, him and Doc Rivers.
Who was after him, though? There's somebody else that was in trouble or something in that 2019 draft class.
Dude, okay.
It's like, what is going on?
Was Kevin Porter Jr. in that draft?
I'm gonna look.
Because he remember he punched some guy in the locker room or something before he got traded.
Oh
to
yeah,
Houston?
No, it wasn't
in that class.
He was just pissed.
They took his locker away. And they didn't show up to practice, right? Like,
yeah, who was Jackson Hayes?
Oh yeah, he's got a couple cases, right?
Dude, PJ Washington.
Oh no. Oh, that was the other thing. Yes, finessed by women. Dude. Zion Williamson, PJ Washington.
Tyler Hero's in that draft.
Also
class?
Finessed by women. Tyler Hero.
My gosh.
Wait. Tyler Hero, has he ever developed? What has he been focusing on too much? Probably women,
off
right?
The court.
Like, same thing with Zion and
that draft class is Jordan Poole.
Oh my God. That's like
Kevin Porter Jr. was in that draft class.
Another guy head case. I like Kevin Porter Jr. though. I just think, for him it's just like he needed the right coach. He needs Ime Udoka. He's just kind of a head case. I love Kevin
Porter Jr.
He's a great player. He's just kind of a head case, Like he was at I went to SC. He was there.
What was in the water in that 2019 draft class? Those kids were on one. They're still on one.
That was like the most. That's like the James. Shout out James. Athletic Gains trainer.
Athletic Gains, man. I miss you, James. I need to visit you soon.
Trae Young. All those guys. DK Metcalf too. Draymond Green. He told me it's
Amari Bailey too. No.
Yeah, Amari Bailey. He told me that draft class is just like it's like a switch of generations.
Oh, okay.
There's there's the vets that are kind of act different. A lot they don't they're not as that type of crazy as the younger guys. Right. Then the younger guys are they can't connect with the vets because they're super off the rails crazy.
Yeah, and, there's a
there's a generational disconnect between the vets and that.
Yeah, because if you go to 2018 draft class, it was DeAndre Ayton. It was it's not off court stuff Marvin Bagley, Luka, Trae Young.
I like Marvin Bagley.
Me too.
I think it's getting to the point where he's never going to be the second overall pick, but I think
Mikal Bridges, Shea.
I think Marvin Bagley's a pretty solid basketball player, especially offensively. He has a nice back.
James Wiseman as well.
Yeah, but
we'll get into that when we get into the lottery stuff.
He just needed. Yeah. And why would the Warriors? By the way, why'd they trade James Wiseman?
Didn't they? What was
Gary
the
Payton.
trade?
Well, it was for
five second-round draft
picks. Sadiq Bey and 5 second rounders,
and then they traded that. No, then they traded the draft picks for Gary Payton Jr.
Yeah, but didn't they get Sadiq Bey originally?
No, it was a 3-team. It was a 3-team.
Sadiq Bey went to the
Hawks.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It was a 3-team trade. Yeah.
Okay. I was confused.
But the Warriors the Warriors saved a lot of money too, so that was a big deal.
Yes, and Payton is a defender, but
they got desperate.
Don't they
got
need
desperate. Bob Myers got desperate.
Wait, but what's the one thing the Warriors could use? An agile big, right? That's why they drafted him over LaMelo.
They did it too quick.
He's young, dude. He needs time. You don't see him.
People forget about that. These kids are so young. Zion is what? How old is Zion?
22.
22. People are oh, his career's over. Relax. Guys are coming into the league way younger now. Okay. Calm down.
And the opposite could happen. Look at a guy like Sean Livingston. future superstar, and then gets hurt. Brandon Roy, future superstar. Greg Oden. Like,
yeah, but here's the thing.
The opposite.
But here's the thing. Like,
Embiid. What about Embiid?
Embiid.
He was hurt for like 5 years.
Exactly. And then he came back, and now look, he won MVP.
I mean, Ben Simmons is so young. Even he could turn around
exactly.
his career.
Calm down with all this stuff where people are like,
how old is Ben Simmons?
Send him to China. I know we make fun of the China thing.
How old is Ben Simmons? He could actually still turn around his career. Now, I'm not saying he's going to, but he's young enough where Lonzo could have a 10-year career.
Ben Simmons is 26.
Yes, dude. And people are saying he should already be in China. Like, the dude's like a 3-time All-Star, and he's had a couple bad years. I mean, John Wall, that's a guy you can say, okay, poor guy can't play like he used to. Yeah. Like he's old. He's older. Yeah. It's like Chris Paul. He can't play like he used to.
People were calling Andrew Wiggins like done in this league, and then he won a title.
Second best player on the finals.
Aaron Gordon, they sent him off. Finals, like
great
NBA champion.
Great
in the
way.
Perfect in his role.
Defender.
Like, let's slow it down with all this stuff where it's like, oh, the career's over. Is he going to be in China next year? Calm down. These guys are like 23.
I know, dude.
Jason Tatum's 25, and people are putting the pressure on him like he's Kobe at 32. Relax.
Okay, the one guy who deserves it is Jaylen Brown for saying he's going to win 8 straight championships or whatever, 5 straight championships.
No.
What do you say?
Can we transition to the Heat? Because Jimmy Butler has been all over the microphones talking about how, I don't care about going to the Hall of Fame. Oh, I'll take the next trophy. That's a joke. That's a joke.
Wait. He tries to put up this persona like he's this all-time great playoff performer.
People were saying he's better than LeBron.
Hold on. And then in the biggest moments, I mean, I don't care if he's hurt or not. Come on, I expect better than 8 points in a couple games. If he was horrible in the finals. All I know is people have been saying this on Twitter. MJ doesn't need to get those. He didn't need to get a test anymore, bro. MJ doesn't need to get a test anymore. Even Marcus Jordan, his son, who didn't even play in the NBA, would have played better in the finals. Probably.
He went to Central Florida.
Well, and he was raised by Michael Jordan.
Yes.
Like, dude, like
that's the thing, like with the Heat, where it was like, sure, it's a good story, but they finally met their match. Like, you knew, like...
It was a Cinderella run. It's like
we always thought that they could maybe take a few games and push it to 7, but, like, this notion that Jimmy Butler was better than prime players that, like, they were saying, like, he's better than Jokic, he's better than LeBron, he's better than all these, like, all-time greats.
And by the way...
What?
And by the way, the people saying, the Denver had an easy path to the finals. It's like... No, they didn't. They played who was in front of them.
Not just that. That's why you get the 1 seed. You get the 1 seed so you can do that.
Well, like, Miami's knows. Everyone's like, oh, Miami's a slouch. Well, they just played a team that was so dominant they couldn't make adjustments. The Celtics all year were hit or miss. All year were the best team in the league, or they would lose to the Magic.
Yeah.
Similar to Denver, but Denver turned on a different switch in the playoffs. And I think Denver the whole year was just waiting. Like everyone, they were like probably looking at the media like, oh, they're choking Houston. They didn't care because they knew what they were going to be in the playoffs when stuff mattered. They had a lot to prove, right? And I think they proved that. But for the Heat beat the Celtics. They beat the Bucks. You could say Giannis missed a couple games. He missed 1 game, right? And he came hurt. Okay, they still beat the Bucks. The Bucks are a good team without Giannis.
Yeah.
They're a good team without him. They beat the Knicks, right? And Jalen Brunson was ridiculous in that series. And even Julius Randle had a good final game, didn't he? Or R.J. Barrett played well.
Yeah, R.J. Barrett was great in that series, actually.
He was great.
Jalen Brunson was
excellent.
excellent.
By the way, something that I mean, all the crap we talked about Bam Adebayo, shout out to him. He actually showed up. He was their best player.
He was their best player.
He was their best player.
Much props to him. I thought he was Julius Randle, and he's not.
And his defense was excellent. And his defense is always excellent. It's always been his offense, right?
Yeah.
And he stepped up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to say
defensively and offensively.
I'm not saying anything about him ever again because when it came to the biggest moment, he was the only guy who stepped up.
Yeah.
Gabe Vincent turned into a pumpkin. Max Strus turned into a pumpkin. I mean, I hate to say it. Max Strus, he did it.
Caleb Martin too.
Caleb Martin, biggest fraud.
What happened?
Celtics fans.
Hold on. Shout out Xavier. Xavier, I know your pain, man. That sucks.
Caleb Martin prime Michael Jordan against the Celtics, dude. He looked like and look, Caleb Martin played well the last 2 games before it was like 8-10 points.
Yeah.
He was like 0 points the first 3 games of the finals. But Max Strus, he did it to himself. I know it's good to flex on the Celtics waived you, and you did well against the Celtics. But once he posted that Celtics waived me, and now I'm an East Conference champ, it just felt like the Heat, even though they talked like, I don't want to touch that trophy, they knew they were going to lose to Denver. I mean, Denver was a superior team. The Lakers, when they interviewed after the Lakers beat the Warriors, they have their pride and like LeBron's LeBron, but they knew Jokic was going to be a problem. They saw the way they just dismantled Devin Booker's historic playoff performance. They knew it was going to be hard, and they knew after the first couple of games they were going to lose that series. And I think Miami kind of knew after the Eastern Conference Championship, as good as they've been playing, it is not sustainable for Gabe Vincent to score 20 to 30 points, for Caleb Martin to score 20 to 30 points. I am sorry. It's great that they're undrafted. It's great they built themselves from nothing. But who did you need when there was no offense there, and who was not in the game? Tyler Hero needed to be in that game.
I don't know why they didn't play him at all.
He needed to be in that game. Like, he needed to be in Game 4, and he needed to be in Game 5.
Like, I don't care about your sore hand. Like, okay, we're all sore. Get out. Like, that was my thing. This is why I'm so angry about it, is because the Clippers did the same thing. Like, Paul George did the same thing. Whereas, like, he went through a full workout before Game 5 and then decided, I'm a little bit sore. I can't play. What? This is the playoffs. This is the finals, Tyler Hero. You're sore?
No, I don't think it was him. I think they didn't play
No,
him.
it was. I feel like it was a little bit of both parties.
Because
he
didn't want to ruin the chemistry. Like, bro, why are you
They needed offense.
Why is he being paid $27 million a year? His defense? No. Because he can score. He's a bucket.
And the Heat went into offensive lulls.
Yes.
Throughout all the series. The whole series, they went into offensive lulls.
And who did they need? Him. They needed him. They needed him. Yeah, they got there because of defense, but when you're playing an offensive juggernaut like the Nuggets, they needed him.
You think Jamal Murray or Jeff Green would have held out because of a sore hand?
No.
They would have played.
You kidding? Jamal Murray is one of the toughest guys in the league. By the way, best non-all-star in the history of the game.
Yeah, he is.
Who else had a 30-point triple-double in the finals that
nobody.
didn't make it? Now, how many all-stars had a 30-point triple-double in the NBA Finals?
It was
maybe like
greats. It was like greats.
LeBron, like
it was like all-time greats.
MJ? Did MJ even have a triple-double in the finals?
No, it was like Wilt Chamberlain or something like that.
I'm sure Magic got a 30-point triple-double.
But it was like
in the finals.
A very select view, and Nikola Jokic, his teammate.
Isn't it ridiculous? Jamal Murray was not named an all-star this year when they were first in the West, or 2020,
2021 too. Well, before he got hurt.
Yeah. It was also an all-star, and they didn't name him. Instead, they keep naming like these clout guys. Like Zion was an all-star. He played 19 games or something. They named him an all-star.
Jackson Jr. was an all-star.
Well, his defense.
Nope.
His defense was good, but he didn't deserve it.
Nope.
They didn't deserve 2 all-stars.
No.
They didn't deserve 2 all-stars.
And he played less games than Anthony Davis, and he made the all-star.
Anthony Davis did deserve to be an all-star. Anthony Davis was okay. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to get too far off topic. For the whole season, the whole product, as inconsistent as he was offensively in some games, I believe, and I'm sure you will agree, Anthony Davis was a top 10 player in the NBA this season.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Simply, you could say
in the playoffs, he was better than he was in the regular season.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like he had a couple duds, but his defense alone, even when he's scoring 10 points, keeps him so productive.
But the thing with Davis is he could be even better than top 10. He could be top 3
when
he's
the best
healthy.
Player in the league,
that. There's some
wanna...
stretches remember that December stretch where he was 50 and 25. He was going crazy.
They beat the Bucks on the road.
Yeah.
But I think dude, a lot of these teams when we say Denver had the Lakers met their match. Yeah. They were overperforming. Say what you want about the Lakers, they were a good basketball team. They were better than the 7th seed once they got all their new guys.
Yeah,
the fact of the matter is the 3 guys you traded for were unplayable against Denver.
I know.
They didn't play.
And the guys that Denver acquired in the offseason were very playable.
But I will say
they were
the Lakers,
essential almost.
Lakers, I think that series, even though they got swept, they proved they were a much better team than the Heat. They kept every game close. And I know they didn't have the moxie the Heat did to get that one game in Denver to keep it close. But talent-wise, the Lakers were much better than the Heat, in my opinion. Much better. I think if the Lakers played the Heat, that would have been a 5-game series as well.
Yeah,
I think the Lakers would have just absolutely dominated them. You put Davis on Bam, where's their scoring going to come from? Jimmy Butler? If Vanderbilt's on Butler?
No.
Come on. Who's it? Exactly. So, to me, it was whoever was going to win the West was going to. Once I saw.
It was crazy because it was kind of the opposite.
It was the opposite
remember?
all year. And once Milwaukee lost, and once I saw Boston not make adjustments in Philly series, even though they won that series, I was like, dude, whoever wins the West is going to come out. And I thought it was the Lakers or Warriors when they were playing each other, but it ended up being Denver. Denver kept proving people wrong. And, man, hats off to them. let's go into the Heat because who can they get this offseason? They're over the luxury
Damian
tax.
Lillard.
Well, no, let's just look at their contracts. They're paying Jimmy like $45 million. Yeah. You know, a lot of money, supermax, right? Bam Adebayo, $32 million or something like that. Tyler Hero, $27 million. Those three guys alone, and then you're paying.
Kyle
Lowry's gonna pay $28 million next year.
Oh boy.
And he
was
actually
excellent.
played great.
Great. Magic legs. He's got magic legs.
Dude, that three hit at the end of the third quarter. I was like, who is this? Who is this?
Well, let's
dude?
just go and I'm going to tell you
go in order
who their 2023 free agents are.
Yeah,
so
go
Kevin
ahead.
Love's a free agent. He's unrestricted. Victor Oladipo has a player option, which I'm assuming he's going to take because it's $9.5 million. Udonis Haslem retired. Gabe Vincent, that's a big one. Gabe Vincent is going to be an unrestricted free agent.
Max Strus.
They do have his bird rights. Max Strus, they have his bird rights.
Yep.
Yurtseven's restricted. From there, it's just Cody Zeller. They're not going to retain him. And then some other guys, like two-way guys. So there's some big question marks for the Heat. Like, what direction do they go? Do they re-sign these depth guys, these role players that stepped up pretty well? Or do they, divert and go for a star like Damian Lillard? Like, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think they go for another star?
I don't
do you
think they can get a star.
No, you don't think so?
I don't think. I mean, we talk about it every year. Like Miami wants another star. Like when you pay Tyler Hero to be your third star, you can't get another star.
Yeah, I know.
You know, when you're paying Kyle Lowry after Lowry retires, like after next season,
then
Jimmy will be like 36.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, like their windows now. What do? Can you pair Tyler Hero, trade Jovic, who's super young, didn't get minutes? Like, sell low on him, trade a couple future picks, and get a Kyrie. Like, but with Dallas, actually,
I think he's going back to Dallas, Kyrie.
But actually, if you're Dallas, think about this. Let's say he call you up. And they're like, sign and trade. Give us Kyrie. We'll give you Tyler Hero. We'll give you 2 future first-round picks. We'll give you, I don't know, Jovic or somebody. Maybe let's say Gabe Vincent sign and trade. Yurtseven, okay, and Gabe Vincent is signed and trade as well. Or Duncan Robinson makes too much money. Would you do it if you're Dallas? Because if
you know that Kyrie's gone for sure.
No, he wants to return. Would you do it?
Dang.
Yes, Kyrie Irving ruins basketball teams. Ruins. And how much, I'm telling you, as good as Kyrie is, he can't play defense. And offensively, how much of a difference is Tyler Hero to Kyrie? Like, tell me, how huge with him, and then you get Kyrie off your hands. Just consider the team cancer part of it, okay?
But I'm saying the basketball part of it.
Tyler Hero's still a 22-point per game scorer who has a bag, and he can play off ball and shoot 38% from three. But
that still doesn't solve your issue of like the Mavs have a very specific issue.
So defense. Okay, so trade Caleb Martin is included in that. Okay,
so,
Caleb Martin's included, not Vincent. It's
Caleb
Martin.
They need to get players back that mimic Dinwiddie and DFS.
They had that.
Right.
They got rid of it. And that's why they were in the West Finals.
But in order for you to get back to that, you need players of that equal, status.
So what the Mavs are going to have to do, and this is a whole separate thing, I think they have to move Hardy and a couple guys.
And their 10th pick? Do you think they'd keep the 10th pick
they're
or
they
trade
it?
Okay, for who though? Like Zach LaVine?
No, Kyle Kuzma. That's who they're going to trade it for. Now, he's not a great defender.
Wasn't Kyle Kuzma a free agent?
I mean, he's a decent defender. Yeah, he's a free agent. But let's say, no, is he a free agent?
Oh, he's got a player option, but he's going to decline it.
He's going to?
He's going to decline. He can get so much money.
Okay, so what happens if it's a sign and trade? Or do you think
that's a good fit next to Luka?
Okay, or does Kuzma say, I want the bag, give me 160 mil Spurs, and goes Spurs? Or Rockets,
oh, shoot. I think the Wizards are going to give him the money, but it's just up to what?
What?
I think they
They got to enter a rebuild. They're not going anywhere, bro.
That's why they kept him as opposed to Rui.
The best. Okay.
That's why.
The worst contract in the NBA. It was Westbrook. Now it's Bradley Beal. $53 million a year. And it's going to be Jaylen Brown in a few years, as good as he is. Jaylen Brown does not deserve $63 million a year.
The Wizards need to rebuild, but they won't. They've needed to rebuild for years.
Like Portland.
Portland and the Wizards are in the same situation.
Chicago too. Chicago's had a little more playoff success, and I do think. Too. Well, I think if Chicago had Lonzo, it'd be a different story. We'd see perhaps an Eastern Conference Finals appearance from them if they had Lonzo. Like, he's that much of a game changer.
They need to blow up their teams. I'm sick of this jockeying. Portland, Washington, and Chicago, get rid of everybody and start over.
You're like me. You're you're polarized to the super.
Well, no.
No,
we're just smart.
Way.
We're just smart.
What
though.
are we playing for? A championship?
Yeah, exactly.
Then let's rebuild.
Exactly. What are these organizations doing? The whole point of an organization is to win a title. Portland's not winning a title,
well,
even if they get like Paul George.
Well, if they got
with
Brandon
Damian Lillard,
Ingram,
they're not going to
maybe
win
second round, but they're not going to win a championship.
Yeah, like Washington. What are they going to do?
Maybe the 10 seed.
Right. Is that going to move the needle? No. And you're still paying Bradley Beal. Chicago, what are you going to do? Be a 10 seed again?
That's
9
why when
seed?
the Lakers are always like, oh, we want Bradley Beal. Like, he's been in the talks for years. I'm like, no, I do not want Bradley Beal.
We need to get this out of our head that Bradley Beal's some, like, generational star at this point in his career. He's a great player. He's not at that level. He's not at the level of these other superstars.
He's a star to all-star that is making $52 million a year. He is not a top...
And he shouldn't warrant the package that
is
all these
Bradley
guys
Beal
get.
a top 30 player? I'm going to say
Yeah,
yes?
he is. I think he still is.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not. But he's not. But people like everyone's making him out to be like top 10, top 20.
No, he is
like
fringe.
what?
He's fringe top 30.
Come on.
And guys like Cade and Mobley, those are guys.
Donovan Mitchell's better than him. And where do you have Donovan Mitchell in your rankings?
Probably 15.
Exactly.
Like, no, but Donovan Mitchell's much better.
Way
than Bradley
better.
Beal.
And
he
that's
averaged like
exactly.
32 a game. I know he didn't look like that in the playoffs.
Would you rather have Bruce Brown or Bradley Beal? If you're a contender.
If I'm a contender, Bruce Brown.
Plays crazy.
Defense.
See what I mean? See what I mean?
I'm sorry, Bradley.
You
Beal.
see what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. If you ask me who would I rather have, Donovan Mitchell or Bruce Brown, I'd say okay, Donovan Mitchell.
Easy.
If the contracts were the same. But
if I'm a team that needs that thing to get us over the edge, I'm not paying Bradley Beal $50 million to do what he does.
I'm not trading for him.
I'm paying for Bruce
Brown.
Brown.
And by the way, the Wizards, how abysmal they've been with player development. Corey Kispert hasn't turned into what he's supposed to be.
He's a good shooter, but
Benny
nothing
Avdia
else.
is good, but they don't develop him.
Like Porzingis, they just gave him a contract extension.
What happened,
Why?
Wait, look what happened to Rui when he played big minutes for a good team. The guy looked like Kawhi
Excellent.
Leonard.
With good development. Phil Handy turned him into like a Kawhi Light.
Yeah, and he's going to get
healthy.
Like $22 million a year now, right?
That was healthy.
Okay, so that's my point. So the big point is here, if you're the Heat, you really can't do anything. And if you're the teams that are, I call the purgatory teams, the teams that are too good to get a top 10 pick or top 5 pick and too bad to make the playoffs, right? Like that's the worst. I would much rather be the Pistons than the Bulls, Wizards, or any of those.
Yeah, I'd much rather be a lottery team right now.
I would trade my whole roster if I'm the Wizards for the Rockets' whole roster.
Oh, me too.
Are
the
you
Rockets
kidding?
have a great core.
But are you kidding? Like, are you joking? Like, I would trade. The Spurs are gonna have one guy in Devin Vassell, and I'd trade everybody on the Bulls and Wizards for that whole team for Wembanyama and Vassell. Like, you don't even have to give me Keldon Johnson. Keep him. Like, I would just trade everybody. I would trade LaVine. Everybody. I don't think people realize like LaVine is great. But he alone is not going to get you to the.
What do you think the reason for that is? Like, why do you think owners and like GMs of those
fans,
organizations?
They're scared, dude. They're scared.
Is that why they're just scared?
Okay, let's think about it like.
But I feel like the fans want that. The fans want to rebuild. They don't want to just be in a middle team for the rest.
Like Armand does, but a lot of these fans expect to win every year since the Michael Jordan days. It's been like bazillion years, but it's like the Lakers, bro. You think like. I would be on board with the Lakers rebuilding after LeBron and Davis.
I think a lot of teams like rebuilding now. Like a lot of fans like rebuilding now. Like there's a lot of Clipper fans that I read on social media that want to trade Paul George for Scoot Henderson.
Look at how fun it is to see the development of people within your organization. Like
that's why Shea. I was just gonna say that's why a lot of Clipper fans love Shea and loved him. Because
they saw the development. Like he's taking steps, and that is why the Clippers, by the way, Brandon Boston's averaged like 24, 25 points per game in the G League.
He's been like a G League MVP
a bucket.
Almost.
He scored like 30 against Boston his rookie year, and he doesn't get minutes. Marcus Morris gets minutes. And Preston, by the way, a guy who has an excellent basketball IQ, great playmaker, was creating his own shot on year. Yeah, he's
very smart.
Very smart. Obviously, does that stuff on TikTok and analyzes basketball. One step ahead of defenses because he knows he has to be because he's not the quickest guy in the world and he's not the best shooter, but he's an excellent basketball player. You're telling me those two winners, those guys who can contribute to winning, weren't on the court and Marcus Morris was. Like, for me, how could I be okay with that as a Clipper fan?
I'm not okay with it.
No, but how do they keep strolling out Morris? How? I don't care if he's making $60 million. I would pay that guy $60 million to stay at home.
Dude, I think he's going to be on the roster next year.
No. He has to be sent home, dude.
What are they going to do? Who wants Marcus Morris?
Send him home. Pay him $16 million and send him home.
You're going to eat the money and just send him home?
Yes. He's terrible, dude. It's one of those...
I would, but I'm just telling you how the Clippers... I know how the Clippers organization works. Either you attach that... Because they have a 30th pick. People forget that. The Clippers have
and they're going to get somebody good.
Either that or they use that pick and attach it to Morris and send it out to get rid of him.
Someone's going to take that?
Teams will take a first-round pick.
Okay, like Spurs will take Morris.
No, like somebody will take a first.
Utah.
Like a first-round pick's coveted.
Utah has like 3 first picks.
Yeah.
By the way, Utah's going to shock everyone. Pick like Bilal Koyofie or whatever with the 11th overall pick or 9th overall pick. They're going to shock people. Or they'll take Grady Dick. White superstar, Utah. They want that. They've wanted Tyler Hero for years. They have Markkanen now.
They want Luka.
They do. Utah loves their white superstars, man. But I mean, that's a whole set. It's just like a fact. It's not even.
I'll say this right to the camera, right directly into that lens. The Clippers have to trade Paul George for that Blazers package.
And they won't.
Don't let the Pelicans do it.
But they won't.
But they won't.
Understand? They won't. Paul George is a Clipper. Kawhi Leonard is a Clipper. Marcus Morris is a Clipper. And Scoot Henderson is a Pelican. Probably, or a Blazer, or somebody, or a Raptor. I don't know what he is, but he's not a Clipper.
This season's going to suck.
He's not a Clipper.
God, we're going to run it back with that same old injury-prone team with Ty Lue at the helm.
Yeah.
No wonder they're plus $28 billion.
All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you guys for listening to the Baller Sports Highlight Podcast. We'll talk more about the draft in our next podcast. Stay tuned for that, presented by the Sporting Tribune. Thank you guys for listening.